Hey guys, I'm back. Guys? Guys?
Hey!
Senketsu? What are you doing here?
I've got nowhere else to go, man. Do you know how hard it is for a Sarafuku to find good acting work? I changed to a hoodie and tried to break the Western audience, but my integrity is in tatters because everyone thinks that Kill la Kill is a goddamn hentai show. I even got rejected by Daz, man. Daz!
Alright. Look, you can crash here until you find some work. It's fine.
Oh, thank God. I knew you wouldn't let me down. Here, I brought you this as thanks.
Is this? Bro, this is awesome. I'm gonna review it right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, fear no longer, for I have returned. Kill la Kill had a lot to live up to when it was revealed to be the maiden anime series of Trigger Studio, written and directed by the same geniuses that birthed Gurren Lagann. My hopes were certainly set way high, and while Kill la Kill did miss the mark in a few places, the characters were larger than life, so it's only natural to expect some top quality merchandise based on them. I've not been disappointed so far. And so I returned to YouTube with a new stage, new figures and new skills, and the first to receive this new cubed treatment is none other than Phat Company's 1/8 scale figure of Kill la Kill's Matoi Ryuko Kamui Senketsu version. Pretty hot and tempting indeed. I always say that my favourite scale figures are the ones that carry a sense of motion and action in their design, and Ryuko here has that in droves. It looks as though she's just swung around 180 degrees and is preparing a slashing attack that could cut through steel with her sword scissor. I absolutely adore Ryuko's hair, and not just because it reminds me of when I used to have red in my hair. The way it follows the motion here is spot on, and really helps to solidify the illusion of spinning around. Her face is great too, the eyes are determined, and her mouth hangs ever so slightly open, which is a detail you can really come to appreciate if you look at her from different angles. Ryuko's pose, even if you ignore the sense of motion that I keep yammering on about, is certainly one of the more interesting ones that I've seen in my time as a figure collector. Her low centre of gravity makes her appear a lot smaller than she actually is, but it also allows for some great definition on both her arms and her legs, which I suppose is one advantage among many to her looking like she's not got much kit on. There is, however, one glaring flaw with having her down this low. It makes it extremely hard to place her somewhere where her full splendour can be on show. Even on the highest shelf of one of my Detolfs, I have to stoop down a little in order to have a proper look at her, so bear that in mind if you do intend to pick this one up, and make sure you have somewhere nice and high to place her. Above all else, the thing that strikes me the most impressive when it comes to this figure is in particular how three-dimensional she is. Wait. Where are you looking? No, I don't mean there! Jesus! You lot are all the worst kind of scum, I hope you realise that. What I meant is that every single detail on this figure is realised in 3 dimensions, even things that I wouldn't blame anyone for just being painted on afterwards, such as the red lines on the boots and the trim on her back here. The most impactful example of this to me is Senketsu's eye. Just look at all the different contours used to make each and every colour in his good eye pop out and slap you in the face like a wet towel. The base is very similar in style to Insane Black Rock Shooter or Ms. Marvel, with the whole jaggedy rock formation thing going on, and while it's not as exciting or pointy as those 2 examples, it gets the job done, and is certainly a lot more interesting than clear plastic or what have you. One thing that's intriguing about this base in particular is that you have the option of attaching this little doohickey onto it. This grants a little clear plastic stool that Ryuko can rest her knee on. That's very thoughtful, as no doubt holding that pose for a long time could leave her very achy. More importantly for us though, it is a powerful weapon in the everlasting battle against leanage. If you're worried about her leaning, or she's starting to suffer from it, just pop this bad boy in and let the problem sort itself out. It's always great when things like this are provided as fail-safes or otherwise, as it shows that Phat Company in this instance have taken a common concern of their customers into consideration. A round of applause for you, alright. There is but one choice that you get to make when it comes to this figure, but it's a pretty important one. You get to choose whether or not you have single-handed, regular sword scissor primed for a sudden skirmish, or go full-on two-handed decapitation mode, ready and willing to strip her opponent of the will to fight. The latter is definitely my favourite, but I'm sure the former will be the first choice for those who have slightly less space. Of course, you could have neither, but that just looks silly. Seniso! Well, this is awkward. Now, there isn't much to putting this Kamui clad countess together. You just stick her on the base, pop on your preferred sword scissor, and away you go. Unfortunately, those two steps are equivalent to double Everest, when you take into account how hard it is to jam her into the base and assemble her blade if you choose to go with decapitation mode. Now, I'd be the first to tell anyone complaining about how hard it can be to put figures into their bases that they're all made that way so that once they're in, they stay there. But in saying that, I shouldn't have to summon up the strength of an entire nudist beach just to plug her in. Now, if you're anything like me and you decided to go for decapitation mode, I warn you, it's an absolute arse. You have to make sure that when you swap over the hands, that it's in the exact correct position. No exceptions. If it's even a single degree off, they won't line up, and you won't be able to assemble the sword scissor through them. Heed my warning, and angle your hands correctly. And there you have it. If I were to sum up my opinion of this figure into one sentence, I would say that it's pretty much just like the anime. There are a couple of problems here and there, and the CG is terrible, but overall it's exciting and a wonder to behold. And if Ryuko alone isn't enough to set your loins alight, just wait until December when Ryuko's rival, companion piece, and eternal eyebrow master, Satsuki Kiryuin, joins the fray. And if Ryuko here is anything to go by, she is going to be sensational.